Last week, we discussed the restart. We talked about breaking the sunk cost fallacy. We explored the neuroscience that proves your brain can still change. We gave you the practical blueprint. Start with the body, then attack the mind. Stack small wins. Become the man who fixes his own life. Some of you watched that video and felt energized. You felt hope. You started. You joined the gym. You deleted the app. You opened the book. You took the first step toward your second life. But then, something happened. Your wife asked what's gotten into you. Your friends made jokes about your midlife crisis. Your brother rolled his eyes when you mentioned the new business idea. Your coworker smirked when you ordered water instead of beer. And your mother said she's worried about you. And in that moment, you felt it. The pull, the gravitational force of other people's opinions, the weight of their judgment, the fear of their rejection. And you thought, maybe they're right. Maybe I am having a crisis. Maybe I should just stay the same. This is where most men fail, not in the decision to change, but in the execution. Because change requires detachment, and detachment is the hardest skill a man will ever learn. Today we discuss the art of loving people without needing their approval, the art of being kind without being weak, the art of moving forward when everyone around you is trying to pull you back. This is not about becoming cold. This is not about becoming a sociopath. This is about becoming free. The Stoics had a word for this freedom, apatheia, not apathy, not coldness, but freedom from the tyranny of external opinion. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about that. You love yourself more than you love strangers. Yet you will destroy your own life to avoid their disapproval. You will stay small to keep them comfortable. You will abandon your dreams to maintain their false image of you. This is not love. This is cowardice, and it ends today. Let's be honest about what approval seeking really is. It is an addiction, not metaphorically, neurologically. When someone approves of you, when they like your post, when they laugh at your joke, when they validate your choice, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical released by cocaine, by gambling, by sugar. You get a hit, and like any addict, you start organizing your entire life around getting that hit again. You curate your opinions to match the room. You tell the story you know they want to hear. You dress the way they expect. You choose the safe career path. You stay in the dead relationship. You abandon the business idea, all to avoid the withdrawal symptoms of disapproval. But here's the cruel joke. The more you seek approval, the less you receive it. Because people respect authenticity. They are drawn to men who don't need them. They admire the man who walks his own path, even when they mock him for it. Especially when they mock him for it. Seneca observed this paradox. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. You are not afraid of their actual disapproval. You are afraid of your imagination of their disapproval. You are torturing yourself with a movie that hasn't even been filmed. And even if they do disapprove, so what? Let's follow this to its logical conclusion. Your friend thinks you're having a midlife crisis. And then what? Does the earth stop spinning? Does your value as a human being decrease? Does anything material change in your life? No. The only thing that changes is a story in someone else's head. A story you have zero control over. A story that says more about them than it does about you. Epictetus taught his students, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Translation, if you want to grow, you must be willing to look like an idiot. You must be willing to let people misunderstand you. You must be willing to be judged by people who aren't even living their own lives well. This is the price of transformation. This is the cost of a meaningful life. And most men refuse to pay it. When you begin to change after 40, people will reveal themselves. They will show you who they really are. and you must learn to categorize them quickly because your energy is limited and your time is running out. There are 3 types of people in your life, and your ability to detach depends on your ability to identify them. Type 1, the anchors. These are the people who actively try to pull you back. They don't want you to change because your change threatens their stagnation. They need you to stay the same so they don't have to confront their own wasted potential. The anchor will say things like, "You've changed. You think you're better than us now? Remember where you came from. This isn't you." They disguise their sabotage as concern. They weaponize your history against your future. Marcus Aurelius dealt with anchors daily. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The anchor is not your enemy. The anchor is your test, your opportunity to practice detachment. You do not need to announce your departure from anchors. You do not need to burn the bridge with a dramatic speech. You simply stop crossing it. You become unavailable. You fade. You let the relationship die a natural death through your absence. Yes, this will hurt. Yes, you will grieve. But better to grieve the loss of a toxic friendship than to grieve the loss of your one precious life. Type 2, the neutral. These are the majority of people in your life. They are not trying to hold you back, but they are not helping you move forward either. They are spectators. They will watch your transformation with mild curiosity, but no real investment. The neutral will say things like, "That's interesting. Good for you. Let me know how it goes." They are polite but passive. They wish you well but won't walk with you. This is fine. You do not need to eliminate the neutral. You simply need to stop expecting anything from them. Stop waiting for their enthusiasm. Stop hoping they'll join you. They won't. And that's not personal. That's just human nature. Most people are too consumed with their own survival to celebrate your success. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." The neutral will not improve you, but they also won't destroy you. Keep them at arm's length. Be polite, be kind, but invest nothing. Type 3, the amplifiers. These are rare. Maybe you have one. Maybe you have none. These are the people who see your potential and actively help you reach it. They challenge you. They call you on your excuses. They celebrate your wins without envy. They mourn your losses without judgment. The amplifier will say things like, "I believe in you. How can I help? That's hard, but you can do it." They don't need you to stay small. They don't benefit from your stagnation. They genuinely want you to win. If you have an amplifier in your life, protect that relationship at all costs. Return the favor. Be their amplifier. This is the only relationship worth investing your limited emotional energy into. But here's the hard truth. Most men over 40 discover they have 0 amplifiers. They look around and realize they are surrounded by anchors and neutrals. And this realization is devastating. It feels like betrayal. It feels like proof that no one actually cares. But this is not a tragedy. This is clarity. This is the universe showing you exactly where you stand. And now you can act accordingly. Now you can stop wasting energy on people who don't deserve it. Now you can become your own amplifier in your life? No. The only thing that changes is a story in someone else's head. A story you have 0 control over. A story that says more about them than it does about you. Epictetus taught his students, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Translation, if you want to grow, you must be willing to look like an idiot. You must be willing to let people misunderstand you. You must be willing to be judged by people who aren't even living their own lives well. This is the price of transformation. This is the cost of a meaningful life, and most men refuse to pay it. Here's why people resist your change so violently. You are holding up a mirror, and they hate what they see. When you start lifting weights at 43, your overweight friend sees his own untapped potential. When you quit the job to start the business, Your colleague sees his own cowardice. When you fix your marriage, your divorced friend sees his own failure. When you stop drinking, your alcoholic buddy sees his own addiction. Your transformation doesn't just inspire people, it indicts them. And rather than accept the indictment, rather than use it as motivation, most people will try to shatter the mirror. They will mock you, they will minimize your progress, they will predict your failure, they will remind you of every time you quit before. They will do anything to avoid looking at their own reflection. This is not about you. This is about them. But you will feel it as a personal attack. You will internalize their criticism. You will start to doubt yourself. And if you're not careful, you will stop. You will put the mirror down. You will return to the familiar hell just to ease their discomfort. Don't. Seneca warned, "The man who listens to reason is difficult to cure." Translation: once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you know you need to change, ignorance is no longer available to you. You can only move forward or pretend, and pretending is its own kind of death. Your job is not to make them comfortable. Your job is not to manage their feelings about your choices. Your job is to live with virtue, to pursue what is good, true, and meaningful, to become the man your future self needs you to be. If they cannot handle that, that is their work, not yours. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, dealt with this constantly. Even emperors have critics. Even leaders have people who want them to fail. He wrote, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." The criticism only hurts if you grant it power. And you grant it power by believing it matters. By believing their opinion is more valid than your own. By believing you need their permission to change. You don't. So how do you actually do this? How do you detach without becoming bitter? How do you love people without needing them? How do you set boundaries without feeling guilty? Here is the protocol. Step 1. Stop explaining. The moment you start explaining your choices to people who didn't ask, you've already lost. Explanation is a form of seeking approval. It's saying, "Please validate my decision so I can feel confident about it." No. If you've made a decision with virtue, that's enough. You owe no one an explanation. Not your friends, not your family, not your coworkers. When they ask why you're doing this, you say, "Because it's what I need to do." And then you stop talking. Most men over-explain because silence feels aggressive. But silence is not aggression. Silence is sovereignty. The king does not justify his decrees to the peasants. The captain does not explain his navigation to the passengers. You are the king and captain of your own life. Step 2. Embrace misunderstanding. You will be misunderstood. Accept this now. People will create narratives about you that are completely false. They will say you've changed. They will say you're having a crisis. They will say you think you're better than them. Let them. You cannot control their interpretation. You can only control your action, and your action is to keep moving forward. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Don't defend your transformation, demonstrate it." Results end arguments. In 6 months, when you're in the best shape of your life, when your business is profitable, when your marriage is thriving, the criticism will quiet, not because you convince them, but because you prove them wrong. Step 3, the 24-hour rule. When someone criticizes your change, when they try to pull you back, when they plant doubt in your mind, do not react immediately. Wait 24 hours. Let the emotions settle. Let the initial sting fade. Then ask yourself, is there truth here? Is there something I can learn from this criticism? Or is this just their discomfort masquerading as concern? 9 times out of 10, it's the latter. But occasionally there is truth. Occasionally, someone who loves you sees something you're missing, and if you react immediately, you'll miss it. But if you wait, you'll have the clarity to separate signal from noise. Step 4. Love without attachment. This is the Stoic paradox. You can love someone deeply while being completely detached from their opinion of you. You can care about their well-being without needing their approval. You can want the best for them without requiring them to want the best for you. This is not coldness. This is maturity. This is what Epictetus meant when he said, "If you kiss your child or your wife, say to yourself that you are kissing a mortal." He wasn't telling you to not love them. He was telling you to love them without the illusion of control. You cannot control whether they support your transformation. You cannot control whether they stay in your life. You can only control your own virtue, your own effort, your own path. Love them, but let them go if they choose to leave. Love them, but don't contort yourself to keep them. Love them, but love your own soul more. Here's the truth no one tells you about transformation after 40. It is lonely. When you eliminate the anchors, when you accept the neutrals for what they are, when you discover you have no amplifiers, you will spend a lot of time alone. And this will feel wrong. It will feel like failure. It will feel like proof that you made a mistake. But this loneliness is not punishment. It is purification. It is the wilderness you must cross to reach the promised land. Every hero's journey includes this phase: the separation, the isolation, the dark night of the soul. Jesus went into the desert for 40 days. Buddha sat alone under the tree. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations in a war tent, surrounded by men but utterly alone in his mind. This is not unique to you. This is universal to transformation. And here's what happens in that loneliness. You meet yourself, the real you, not the performed version, not the people-pleasing version, not the version that contorts itself to fit into spaces too small for your soul. The real you, the one you've been avoiding for 20 years, the one with dreams you abandoned, the one with potential you wasted, the one who knows exactly what you need to do but has been too afraid to do it. That version of you has been waiting, patiently, quietly, in the silence. And now, finally, with the noise eliminated, with the crowd dispersed, you can hear him. And he has instructions. This is why Seneca said, "Without solitude, no serious work is possible." You cannot rebuild your life in the same environment that broke it. You cannot hear the truth while surrounded by lies. You need the silence. You need the space. You need the loneliness. But it's temporary, because once you've done the work, once you've become the man you were meant to be, you will attract new people, better people, amplifiers, men who are on the same path, men who understand the price of transformation and have paid it themselves. You will build a new circle, a smaller one, a better one, not based on history or convenience, but on shared values and mutual growth. Not people you've known the longest, but people who bring out the best in you. But first, you must be willing to walk alone. Here is the beautiful paradox of detachment. The moment you stop needing people's approval is the moment you become most worthy of it. When you are desperate for validation, you reek of it. People can smell it. It's repulsive. It communicates low value. It says, "I don't trust my own judgment, so I need yours." And people lose respect for you. But when you walk with quiet confidence, when you pursue your path without apology, when you're at peace with being misunderstood, people are drawn to it. Even the ones who criticized you, especially the ones who criticized you. Suddenly, they want to know what you're doing. They ask for advice. They comment on how different you seem. They say, "I always knew you had it in you," conveniently forgetting they were the ones telling you to stay small. And here's the test. When they return with praise, you must remain detached from that too. Because praise is just another drug, another hit of external validation, another trap that makes you dependent on others for your self-worth. Thank them, be gracious, but don't let their praise inflate you any more than their criticism deflated you. You are not the opinions of others. You are your actions, your discipline, your virtue. Marcus Aurelius was praised as a god by his subjects and insulted as a tyrant by his enemies. Often on the same day, he remained unchanged by both. He wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." Don't be that man. Value your own opinion, not arrogantly, not stubbornly, but confidently. You know what you need to do. You know what is right. And if the entire world disagrees, the entire world is wrong. But let me give you one final warning. Detachment is not the same as isolation. Detachment is not the same as cruelty. And detachment is not the same as abandoning everyone. There is a dangerous edge to this work, a place where men become so detached that they become cold, unfeeling, disconnected from their own humanity. They confuse strength with hardness. They confuse independence with loneliness. They push away everyone who tries to help because they've convinced themselves they don't need anyone. This is not Stoicism. This is ego. This is fear. This is just another form of weakness. The Stoics were not isolated hermits. They were engaged citizens. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. Seneca advised emperors. Epictetus taught students. They loved people. They served people. They just didn't need people. That's the difference. Need versus love. Dependency versus care. Attachment versus connection. You must learn to hold relationships with an open hand. You must learn to be alone without being lonely. You must learn to love without clinging. This is the art. This is the balance. And it takes a lifetime to master. But the work begins now, today, in this moment. Next week, we go deeper into the solitude. We discuss the power of solitude, how to sit alone without distraction, how to use silence as a tool for clarity, how to become your own best company. Because before you can build anything external, you must build your internal fortress. But you cannot build that fortress while still caring what other people think. So let them think what they want. Let them say what they will. Let them judge. Let them mock. Let them leave. And you keep walking, not because you don't love them, but because you love yourself more. Not selfishly, not cruelly, but truthfully. Your second life is waiting, but it's on the other side of their approval. And the only way through is detachment. Subscribe to Midlife Clarity. The hardest work begins in the silence. And next week, we enter it together.